Hey guys, Toby here. Let's cut to the chase. You probably clicked this because of the title of the video, and I assure you what I'm revealing today is totally clickbait. Wait, I mean totally not clickbait. Today, I discovered not only that the new SYMPHOGEAR project is confirmed to be Season 6, but the entire plot also got leaked. Don't tell Satelight, don't tell Akifumi Kaneko, don't tell Tsubasa Kazunari. Today, I'll be sharing what I found with my totally credible sources. But this is Senki Sessho SYMPHOGEAR Season 6, tentative name. It's been 10 years since the unfolding events of SYMPHOGEAR XV. The 6 SYMPHOGEAR wielders are living in a time of peace. Tsubasa and Maria are still touring worldwide even after they faced 26 sex scandals together in the past 2 years, one of which was reported by a bassist that was left unfucked. Kiriko Chirabe owned a restaurant and bartended at night. Chris Yukine has remained bitchless throughout her life, was on and off with a boy not her age for a couple of years, got caught, and was arrested for doing things, but escaped with the power of Ichival and is currently missing. As for Hibiki and Miku, well, it's been 10 years and we still don't know what they explicitly told each other that they really want to say. Nonetheless, they are still very good friends. But apparently, there's some other universe Hibiki that comes out of their apartment every often with a bunch of bruises on her neck, which I don't really know what that means or why that has to be mentioned. Either way, the lives of the wielders of SYMPHOGEAR don't mean shit, because now there's a new story to be told with a new generation of SYMPHOGEAR wielders, because that always turns out good. Meet Haley. Meet Haley Gunderson, a foreign exchange student from, I think it's called Zerumpland or something, who's had a shitty life in Japan because she found out that not everything is kawaii desu, and she gets bullied by her classmates, because although she is a foreigner, she doesn't have blue eyes nor blonde hair, which totally goes against the image of exchange students in my Japanese animes. Haley's only friend, wait a minute, why the fuck is Miku not mentioned in this? Another exchange student, Clarice Whitecourt, invites her to see a concert featuring the sex scandalous duo Tsubasa and Maria, which they finally returned to Japan after 7 years. Haley, in the slums and contemplating certain things, decides to go with her. They watch a concert and have a blast, until there's an unintended blast right by the stage. Oh shit, something has returned, but it's not the same as last time they appeared. The mysterious, unkillable enemy straight up kills Tsubasa from the explosion. Well, at least she doesn't have to suffer fighting them anymore, leaving Maria to save the day all by herself. But it's been so long since she has fought Noise, so being the useless woman she is, she also dies within seconds after her transformation. But what about Haley and Clarice? Well, Clarice was a rich motherfucker who had tickets in the front rows, so you probably knew what happened. Clarice dies from the blast that Tsubasa also died from, yet, like a miracle, Haley survives. She wakes up 6 months after the incident, brought to Sector 3, the successor of Sector 2 because they went bankrupt because there were no more noise attacks. Although it is not the noise that is now attacking the nation, they are far deadlier than the noise ever were. They are the sound, which the world is now facing another crisis, dubbed the Sounding. Haley finds herself with an old Genjiro Kazunari, his outfit not containing any more sleeves, and his tie is around his neck. It's the same old rusty ship with the same old rusty people, and although Elf9 is the same as ever, she's been high on LSD, as according to her, it's the only way to communicate to Carol. She's had it hard all these years. Anywho, Haley asks a bunch of questions to the old man, and only provides the vaguest of answers. Like the noise, the sound is controlled, but they don't got the slightest clue who it might be. However, if there is something certain, just like Hibiki, Haley's been struck with a relic. But not just one relic, but 2 of them, with Tsubasa's Ame no Hawakiri and Maria's Agatram, fused together, creating another off-wedge form and relic together. The Ame no Ashikoki. And with months researching Haley's body and the new relic, Haley is the world's last hope, the newest SYMPHOGEAR wielder that is able to stop the Sounding. But why the fuck does that matter to her? Haley was bullied all throughout her school life in Japan. Her only friend died in the only time she had fun, and now the world is in her hands. Singing her heart out of rage, the relic activates and on the spot kills Genjiro as she sings her heavy metal tune. With Ashikoki, she can wield mighty swords at her will, and as Sector 3 starts chasing down Haley, she cuts down the ship in half and flees into the city. There's only one thing in her mind. She will take down the sound. She will find the mastermind of the sound and tear them apart. She won't let anybody get in her way. And that's exactly what Haley does. Being the sole person to defeat the sound, she spends every day going on a rampage violently defeating the sound in any way she can, like she had some natural talent tearing sentient beings apart without mercy. She becomes feared by the people, and her only chance of survival is shoplifting and living in abandoned apartments for shelter, but unlike Chris, there is no Genjiro that can fix her, so she's continually going towards a downward spiral. Time moves on with things stagnant. The sound are still appearing everywhere, and Haley keeps rending them apart, slowly killing her body. But that's not important. However, a pivotal moment happens mid-season, where a famous duo finally make a reappearance. It's the babies, but not. Although Kirika has gotten dumber and dumber as the years gone on, Shirabe has finally perfected her invention, the Sound Killer, attachments for the SYMPHOGEAR that allows them to kill the vicious sound. Haley is at first hostile towards the babies, but discovering that they want peace and are not affiliated with Sector 3, she becomes acquainted with them and finds out about a horrible truth. 6 months is quite a lot of time for a conflict to happen in SYMPHOGEAR. The reality is, within the 6 months that Haley was knocked out, Hibiki, Miku, and the babies were in the front lines against the sound, which their SYMPHOGEARs were enough to take them down. However, tragedy struck with one instance where they were overwhelmed, and sadly, Miku died. Okay, is everyone just gonna die in this season? Well, wait to find out. Miku's death brought Hibiki devastated, and while she wasn't defeated by the sound, she disappeared, probably going to Chris as a rebound, and at the same time, the sound got stronger, with Shirabe and Kirika unable to fend them off. Now that Kirika and Shirabe were with Haley to fight the sounding was done for. Sound will attack more than they can appear, and an effort was made by Shirabe to find the mastermind. Sound would suddenly stop appearing, making it a victory for the trio, spending more time to find the mastermind, until one day, huge waves of sound appear at their doorstep, forcing them to diverge if they want to maximize their efficiency at killing the sound. While the sound waves were no match for the trio, Haley discovers Kirika and Shirabe dead, with holes in their stomachs like they were donuts. Despite the loss of the babies, Haley was empty of rage. She only felt sadness, down in the slums once again. Feeling like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, another character makes her return. It's still bitchless Chris Yukine. Knowing Haley from the TV's ad broadcaster, they hit up at a family restaurant to tell Haley her side of the story. Since her escape from prison, she met up with the boy, who was grown up now, and spent their time away from the authorities until the sounding killed him and swallowed her Ichigo whole, rendering her fucking useless. She was afraid of returning to see her old friends as she had been gone for so long in hiding, and, being a criminal, and Tsubasa wasn't even alive, so what was the point? Being slummed as Haley, they bond through trauma, cause who doesn't love that? Why did they end up naked in the bed together the next morning? You didn't hear shit. After things, Haley finally mentions how she can stop the sounding, needing to find the mastermind of the sound, and Chris suddenly has this bright idea where she thinks where it might be. Katangir's ruins, which to this day have not been removed. Haley and Chris traveled to Katangir, and as luck would have it, it was the main factory of the sound, operated completely by itself. And that I mean yes, sound were developing themselves. But there just had to be a mastermind to do a thought to themselves. With Haley and Chris separated to explore inside Katangir, well, what do you know, Chris is fucking stabbed, but not by a knife, but an entire arm, which he dies on the spot. Haley runs over and finally confronts the mastermind, their face covered by the shadows. Haley Gunderson, they say, unveiling themselves from the shadows. It's Hibiki Tachibana. Haley cannot believe her eyes. Hibiki Tachibana, the woman that was SYMPHOGEAR, the one who defeated the noise with the power of friendship and made many enemies to friends. The one who never stopped believing in miracles, curses, or cures, but alas, she got old. Hibiki was living a good life in peace, remaining very good friends with Miku and the rest of the gear wielders. She finished high school, graduated university, continued to work for Sector 2 until they became bankrupt, became jobless, and felt like her future was directionless. People moved on with their lives, but Hibiki's high was SYMPHOGEAR, but that was all fading into obscurity. Years passed where she did nothing, and while she was playing around with Hibiki from another universe, she eventually OD'd on Linker by mistake, so now she was just living some boring life with Miku. Eventually, it was time for change. If she wanted to relive the feeling of defeating the noise, then she would just have to make the noise herself. So, she called up Gendro and Elf9, both doing jack shit as hobos with the loss of Sector 2. With the creation of the sound, it would allow Hibiki and the gang to fight once again, and Sector 2 would be back in business. With Elf9's infinite wisdom on alchemy, she developed the sound, which Hibiki was able to control with her Gungnir. It was time for the SYMPHOGEARs to shine again. Without the knowledge of the rest of the Gears, the fight against the sound was abrupt, but it felt like home to them, excluding Tsubasa and Mario, which, died immediately, but Hibiki paid no attention as they'd been gone from her life for too long. The attack of the sound brought Hibiki and Sector 2's spirits up, but they didn't really plan what to do from there. The sounding was an artificial, never-ending crisis that brought the defenders to their knees, and it all came to the point where Miku was overwhelmed and killed as a result. Hibiki had fucked up. Bad, like really bad. She was living like she was young again, as when they were young, well, nothing bad would ever happen to them. Sure, things got shocking, but they were always alright in the end. Not anymore. Hibiki faced the reality. In the end, as much as the SYMPHOGEARs were, they were still susceptible to mortality. Miku's loss brought Hibiki to a downward spiral. She never even said "I love you" to her, although they have indeed fucked like thousands of times. As punishment, and punishment to the world that gave her a life of fun and boredom, she forced Elf9 to make more powerful sound, in return giving her LSD that allowed her to see Carol once more, which was stated previously that she got addicted to it, and controlled the sound to a rampage. Although Sector 3 was the one that brought upon the sounding, they had their emergency card if they ever needed it. Haley, struck with a dual relic fusion. When she rose, it angered Hibiki, as she now faced someone standing in her way, and she was not going to permit that. It got her even angrier that Kirika, Shrabe, and even Chris turned her against her too, still finding ways to defeat the sound, but she defeated them anyway, as she had nothing to lose since Miku's death. Revealing this trauma dump all to Haley overwhelms her, but Haley is determined to fight against Hibiki. The epic showdown between Haley and Hibiki commences, with Hibiki's god-slaying Gungnir against Haley's destructive Amino Ashikoki. The rage between the two of them is strong, but with lots of more trauma and sound on her side, Hibiki easily triumphs Haley. Haley has no words to offer Hibiki to bring her back to her senses, as by then, nobody would forgive her for what she has done, nor would she ever live a normal life ever again. Haley admits defeat, slandering Hibiki until she dies in the hands of the mastermind. In the last minutes of the season, Hibiki walks out of Katangir, noticing that it is snowing. She walks on the snowy ground, leaving bloody footsteps behind, with her hands stained of all of her friends' blood. Standing alone without Miku, she looks into the sky. She laughs, she cries, and that's the end of it. Happy April 1st, everybody. Hopefully you caught on by the first second that, this shit isn't real. It's still not certain what the next SYMPHOGEAR project is, although many are certain that it is a Season 6, but only time is gonna tell. If you watch this all the way through believing this was real, and you're shocked, sad, disappointed, don't worry, it's not real. This is just some shitty fanfiction I wrote specifically for this video. No, I'm capping. This really is a SYMPHOGEAR season plot. Trust me. If you're not a believer like future Hibiki is, watch these videos to show my credibility. Watch them in any order. They are complete facts, no lies. Watch it. Oh, watch it now. Have you clicked on one of them yet? Or whatever. That's all I have for now. Thanks for watching.